Get up and get out. Get out. Get out.
I have a question for you.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord. Get out. Get out. Christ is Lord.
Hello and welcome in to another episode of Offensively Accurate, hosted by yours truly, Atlas Thugs, aka White Boy D Voice, aka another racially ambiguous Groiper, and I'm here to tell you that Jesus loves you and Christ is King. Unfortunately, among many other terrible things. And a good bit to get into today. We're going to be another shorter episode from me tonight, but enough of that. Just want to go ahead and get through a couple of these things. Obviously, the sponsor is Athenor Metallurgy. Shout out to them, AthenorLLC.com. Get yourself a light box. Get yourself actually specifically one that says offensively accurate. That's what you should do. That's what all of you should do immediately. Run to the website right now and spam Christian out and get a hold of him immediately. But I appreciate that. I appreciate them sponsoring the show, obviously, from being a bit toxic. And let me get my glasses off too. It sucks. I can't see, but you can't see my eyeballs with them on. Also, support me at buymeacoffee.com. That's probably the best way to do so. I prefer that over the super chats, but regardless, don't care either way. I'll still take it, obviously. And no group report tomorrow because Nick didn't stream this week. So don't expect for there to be a group report tomorrow. It won't be there, not happening. Although, a couple of things I want to say. Two things that I've been talking about for quite a while. One thing I've been talking about for quite a while is reintroducing a lot more of the kind of chill streams, and I think I'm going to be doing that on the weekends, probably a combination of both doing more of the scary stuff like I prefer to do, stuff that I just typically enjoy, and also maybe trying to rope in some gaming streams. Unsure how that will look, in talks with some other creators right now to see how that could look, but expect that happening on the weekends as well, and again, trying to maintain some level of upkeep on YouTube. And again, with the job situation, I'm actually free this week and probably will be a bit freer through the next week as well. So I'm going to try to get YouTube video and content out while I can, while that's going on. But as of the actual news for today, politics, going back to, maybe what is more the mainstay, why you guys are here in general, is we was preaching, at least that's what Hegseth thought. The kind of major news story, the more, I guess to me, maybe the more insane news story, one of the most insane stories, but it just won't stop. And that is the title of today's episode, because it seems that the heresy, the pushing of, the Messiah and all this Donald Trump nonsense is just continuing. And Pete Hegseth continued that with his citation of a prayer from the Bible, but really he was just literally reciting nearly verbatim the exact Ezekiel fake verse that exists in Pulp Fiction, and that's where the thumbnail inspiration comes from. We'll be talking a good bit about that. But it's not just Pete Hegseth. The heresy is rampant. I mean, it won't stop. And so I mean that quite literally. And so Paula White, we've talked about before, but Paula White is the faith advisor. They talk about how close the faith office is to the Oval Office, and that is looking like it's actually a terrible thing. It needs to be dialed back immediately. Now, Paula White, we know she's insane. That's no news to anybody here, but she quite literally is the definition of not only just insane, but she is a ramp heretic. And so a couple of these really blew me away. Now, not only did Hegseth quote Pulp Fiction, but he also continued on, and he also compared Trump and the military to Jesus performing miracles. Like, I kid you not, this is a bit of a longer clip. And we might not play that one, but there is a 5-minute clip floating around that you can find of later on during one of these other press conferences. I believe he's speaking for the Department of War, but likening what Trump is doing in office, but also the military abroad, as similar to Jesus performing miracles. And so this is kind of defining a through line over the last couple of weeks. Now, if you guys remember what I've been suggesting or positing in the last couple of days, it is my opinion, and I think a lot of evidence is now showing itself to be true of this, and I think very specifically with Troy Nels, which we'll get to, but it's been of my opinion that the reason we are seeing such insane and excessive amounts of this speaking to Christianity while also being very negatively anti-Catholic, while also just generally being mega church evangelical kind of vibes to it, it all to me speaks that there is a nature and an environment that surrounds Donald Trump that is gone beyond the line of Trump, you're the best, Trump is the best president, because we know this to be true. We know that everyone around Donald Trump, especially in the inner circle, is saying things like, oh, MAGA's the best, Trump, you're the best president ever. And it's more, but it's more than that, right? We're talking about how, even some smaller comments of like, oh, Trump, that post you put out, that was the best post I've ever seen on Truth Social before. Oh, Trump, that the way that you did that the other day, that was the best way I've seen a president do that. I mean, it's everything, right? And it's all these people who I would imagine for a majority of them, they're just going with the flow. They're just going, this is what the top people are doing, so I'm going to continue the rhetoric. For others, it's a way of getting in. This is how you get into the administration. This is how you get a higher position. This is how you move up the ranks, if you will. Just do a bit of filleting. Yep. Okay, bring in the Trump donkey. Okay, perform the oral right there. We're going to put it on camera. Like many of you have seen as well too, with individuals like, again, John Doyle. I think the containment right, not even really containment right, the retarded right, which would be the Goyles of the world, the Patrick Caseys, the captive dreamers. I think all of that speaks to the way that they behave as well too, which is they're on the good side of Trump. They basically are just worshiping the guy at this point. Can do no evil, can do no wrong. But it's of my opinion that we've crossed the line from that into, with the very specific individuals like Paula White in that same frame, also W to How, is that they are now saying, what you're doing, Trump, you are the Messiah of the Jewish people. You're saving, what you're doing in Iran is saving the Jewish people. Where would Israel be without you, Donald Trump? You have saved all of us. You've given us a home. You've, on those same kind of lines that you would get all of the other MAGA stuff, right? The same kind of flating, but with a different spin on it. And that one going from, you're the best president, to, no, now you've ascended. And you see this the way they talk about it too. We saw again from yesterday, the post, or 2 days ago, forgive me. But the post that went in very specifically talking about how, is God playing his Trump card? And all of this rhetoric and language obviously building up towards Trump is clearly obviously probably in his brain making him think, oh, he's all of these things. And so I don't think Trump is an idiot, but I do think he's old. And I do think that he's been in this environment for a long time, surrounded by this kind of talk for a long time. And what does that do to the psyche of an individual? He probably does believe it. I would imagine he's at the point now where he does believe what he's being told. When Mary Madelson tells him, Donald Trump, Israel would be nowhere without you. What would the Jewish people be? I mean, we wouldn't exist without you, right? And it's all the same kind of rhetoric that floats around AIPAC and everything else that is the Jewish fifth column. And it's just very terrifying. And so you can see a bit of that being picked up by Hegseth. Hegseth is echoing it. We saw this when also, let me say this too. Shout out to Hal for the 5 gifted. That's awesome. Looks like a good bit of people got those. Betty Spaghetti. Leona, some names I've never seen before, but thank you for the gift. I appreciate that, man. And not only is Hegseth echoing this, but he's continued, he's pushed it. We're getting Paula White. Paula White now has a crazy video that's going viral as of today that's got a bunch of different little clips and snippets in there we will watch just to give you guys an idea there at home what we're dealing with here. But additionally to that, it was really one that came from Troy Nels that stuck out to me. Now, Troy Nels, I believe, he's a congressman or a senator. He's from Ohio. The only reason I really know of him is because of his weirdness and his involvement with the East Palestine train explosion. This is how I kind of even got to know or understand like who he even was. I don't even know if he's from Ohio or for Ohio. Forgive me, I could be wrong about that. Regardless, he's a very irrelevant individual. And he's been now getting pushed a bit more. He has this video going around. He's like smoking a cigar. He's filleting Trump publicly as well. But it was one of the comments that came from Troy Nels that specifically said, I think what Trump's doing is like the second coming. And therein, Troy Nels himself is also echoing this, also pushing this kind of rhetoric. So if it's left the bounds of even the inner circle, and now we're seeing it being pushed by people who are, by all accounts, should be further outside of the circle. Now we're seeing it in the second ring. I mean, it was almost like a signing call for people to push it more. And so I saw in the comments to a reply to the guys, he's a creator by the name of High Impact Flicks. And I followed him just because of a lot of his breakdowns he does for like police brutality and things like that. I don't know if you could call him a leftist or a right winger. I don't know much about the guy, to be honest. But I saw even he quote tweeted, somebody was responding to him because he was calling out this insanity. Like, this is insane. Trump's clearly not Jesus. He's not even close to it. This guy's evil. And what he quotes is in the comments of reply is someone like AI generated Trump as Jesus, like hunting down Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene and like a couple other people. And now MAGA's going with it too. And so I've been seeing some other posts as well from like older individuals. I saw this older boomer grandma, and she was like, Trump can do no wrong. Don't believe the media. And so this is what they're doing now. So now they're like actually grabbing boomers out of the grave and dragging them up into a microphone to say, look, grandma, tell the world at home that you still believe in Trump. And it's like, grandma doesn't even know what day it is, actually. Why and how, and how is anyone not seeing what they're clearly doing here? And so I saw a few other pushes from this of like, let's listen into why. And it was like some 79-year-old guy. I'd never even seen him before. And it was like reposted by Jack Posobiec or somebody like that. And he was on another podcast talking about how, I really think people are blowing this out of the water with Trump. Literally insane. And so this is just kind of the environment we're in, is everyone is acting insane. It is a lot of insanity. And to make it one better, on this Pete Hegseth one in particular, I saw a snippet from Glenn Beck that came out earlier today. And the snippet from Glenn Beck is insane. Well, Glenn Beck himself is literally insane. But Glenn Beck is now concerned with the foreign involvement in our American political ecosystem. Now he's telling people about there's a propaganda war and there's some foreign involvement. Wow, Glenn Beck, thank you for arriving to the party like 20 years too late, maybe even longer than that, maybe a century late to this issue. And why is he doing this? Why is Glenn Beck saying this? Well, Glenn Beck is highlighting the fact that the clip that went viral from Hegseth, quoting Pulp Fiction instead of an actual Bible verse, he's highlighting the fact that the person who clipped it, that the main post that went viral came from RT. Now, if you guys don't know this, RT is Russian Times. I think that's what it stands for, Russian Times or Russia Times. It's got the green logo. You've probably seen videos of it recently. They've been actually very active during the Iran war, which of course they are. They have pieces at play too. Russia's not just an observer in this action. And you go, that's the concern, is that a foreign government, it wasn't that, it's not like they made up the video. Russia didn't AI generate this video, Glenn. What Russia did was they clipped the portion that was like the most viral of it and then just posted it. And because they're a big network, this doesn't mean defending Russia by any means. But the claim from, like, that's what Glenn Beck is focusing on, is the fact that RT clipped it and then posted it and then it went viral. Duh. Like, of course. How are you not more mad? And again, Glenn Beck is Mormon, so I don't expect him to understand these things or really read his Bible, to be honest with you. But then he's not really that mad that Hegseth is once again looking like an absolute bumbling idiot. And I'm going to be honest, you know what is insane about this is I defended Hegseth on not the principle of defending Hegseth of the administration, but I made a long video defending Hegseth from one of his initial claims against sexual assault because it was blatantly fraudulent. But I just feel like an idiot now because Hegseth is like he's just a doddering fool. Like, I mean, let's just be honest. JD Vance is like the oralist, like he looks like this fat kind of disgusting individual. He wears mascara. He's clearly astroturfed. But Hegseth is definitionally the guy who is an idiot. Like, this guy cannot speak publicly for longer than 5 minutes without you hearing something that is either just blatantly wrong, idiotic, or some kind of low effort joke that's meant to appease the boomers. But I was just very, very, not even appalled, but we're here. We expect this. I expect Glenn Beck to appease his audience because Glenn Beck worships Israel. Glenn Beck, outspoken on it, he specifically has talked about in the past how he applied for citizenship for Israel. So I expect that. But the appalling part to me is that people listen to these individuals. That's what's appalling to me. Is how does the Blaze retain an audience? Now, I know the boomer element, I get that. But at a certain point, you go, is this how retarded we are? And not we, because I'm not going to let myself in there. You. No, I'm just kidding, not being rude. But it's still, and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should not be a part of these things. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised. But still, when I see Laura Loomer and Levin and Beck still pushing this, ignoring the elephant in the room, right? And I think of that famous video, yeah, who's we? I think of that famous photo, forgive me, where there's like a tiny art exhibit on the wall. It's like a big room, 4 walls. It's a massive art exhibit kind of room. And there's a tiny painting on the side of the wall. And there's like a whole group of people and they're all like trying to focus and looking at it. And the reason why they're all squished together is because there's this massive elephant in the room that's like pushing them all to one side and like no one's seeing it. And this makes me think of that. Like how? Especially given the fact that everything that's coming out about the Iran war today from Donald Trump is more bullshit. It is literally all bullshit. And maybe that's the bigger headline today. So we'll be taking a look at obviously the heresy and the continuation of the heresy pushing all of this. Speaking of, that just reminded why I wanted to bring that up, the announcement early on, is because then I saw, right before I went live about 30 minutes ago, Lauren Southern, the woman who has sucked and fucked her way through the Manosphere, Con Inc., and also Destiny, decided one of the first things that she's going to do when she comes back to media, which why is she coming back to media? Lord knows, is she posted apparently like an hour and 10-minute video attacking all of the Christians in the online space. And then she posted in her tweet that her conclusion to this video was that there actually are no Christians online. I mean, I'm telling you, Zeb, please, the rope. Like, this is like top tier rage bait for me. Like I had to like not, I did not comment to it. Now I already got rage baited by Lizzie earlier today. If you guys didn't see this, that's another big topic we'll talk about too, but she already rage baited me pretty hard. Is this meant to be rage bait? Is this how she gets back in? And you think about it too, it's very similar to what Ashley St. Clair is doing. Her only way to claw back in is to turn the guns against everybody else who she was friends with. So I don't know if you guys have been following this either. I try not to, because God forbid I listen to him in longer than 5 minutes without literally wanting to do things that I'm not allowed to say. Ashley St. Clair is like in a full-out war with Benny Johnson, which I'm all for because Benny Johnson's gay. But this is what she's pushing at. She's pointing all the cannons at everybody, and again, being very generally anti-male. She posted a video of her like dancing along to some I don't know, some black rap song. And it's just like, it's all the things that you hate about female influencers. They're stupid, they're cheap, they're vulgar, they're neurotic, and above all, they're just whores. And that's the video that she was pushing. It was just her being a whore. And her like dancing around to like, you know, I don't even know what it was, to be honest with you. I had to turn it off. It's a woman speaking. I had to turn it off. What do you want from me? And then Lauren, and then right, yeah, join us 2026. But these people are still, they remain prominent. And they remain prominent. Ashley St. Clair remains prominent in the fact that she's basically holding a metaphorical gun to Benny Johnson's career. Hey, Mainstream Distance in here. What's up, brother? I will be streaming tomorrow, actually. So, to marry those together, I plan on reacting to this whole video tomorrow. That's one of the things I plan on doing tomorrow. Is I'm going to turn on my camera. We're going to sit through and we're going to watch this video of Lauren Southern being an idiot. Not even an idiot. She's probably just going to make stuff up, and we're going to push back. We're going to sit there and attack. It's going to be me sitting there, and I'm giving you the warning now because it's going to be a woman speaking for long periods of time, and I know what that does to people. I know what it does to me. You know, like I just see red. Women speaking, I see red. Silly Ball says, please no. But here's the reason why. I want to react to it simply on the fact of pausing it and saying no and debunking every single one of her claims. And also, I want to know what this woman is saying. So it's, warning, telling everybody, yeah, I'm going to be speaking tomorrow on stream. But I do want to react to that. She won. She rage baited me. She got it. She wins. All right, Lauren Southern, you got your click. You deserved it. Or you earned it. Forgive me. You got it. Here we are. No, and listen, you guys seem to deserve it. I'm going to be the one who have to sit there and respond to all of it. But no, I mean it seriously, because there's no way that your career gets burned down in flames because now the whole world knows that you sucked. Again, sucked and fucked. This is not a joke, and I don't care if you find it vulgar. This is the way this woman moved through the movement for the entirety of her career, that she was being brought onto people like Tim Pool and The Blaze and The Daily Wire and all these other places that go, oh, listen to this base woman because she put on a shirt one time that you shouldn't be mean to white people. Okay. And the entire time she's sucking Andrew Tate. She flips over and she goes over to, what was it, Tommy Robinson, whoever his name is. And then she's doing stuff. So regardless, all of that, just to say, I'm going to do the react stream to it tomorrow. But just the insanity that the first thing, no, do not. That's crazy. That's funny. Atlas just wants an excuse to talk about all that sloppy toppy. No, I don't want to talk about that at all, to be honest with you. But I'm just, the insanity that's what she goes down for less than like a year ago, right? And I think it was Rollo Tomasi was the one who was getting all of the communications, because I believe it was Rollo Tomasi got into connection with her husband or ex-husband. And that's another rabbit hole too, because he's intelligence, and Lauren Southern just didn't know. And that's a whole other, again, another huge rabbit hole. But the first thing you're going to do when you come back to that, I don't even know if it's the first thing she did, but it's the first thing I've seen of her doing. She's going to attack Christians. She's going to come out of the darkness and then attack Christians. No, I'm going to talk no jutsu, seal her back into the dark dimension where she belongs. Get back into the abyss, crawl back down there with all the other whores and stay. You need to find your seat between Ashley St. Clair and Melanie Mack, sit down, shut up, and never come back. Also, yes, smash the like button if you haven't already, and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. What are you doing? If you're not subscribed to me, you're not even getting the news. If you don't subscribe, you're not getting the news. Do you think that you have, so when you turn on Fox News, do you think that you're getting the news? Really? Speaking of that, it'll be one of the featured stories of today too. We're gonna get to it. Yeah, make sure you smash the like button. Only 24 likes, 70 people watching. What are you guys, black? You know what I mean? It's a black people thing. You know what I mean? Guess we'll leave it at that. No, listen, I'm just messing. We like to have fun here. I'm black. The way some, no, I'm not. I'm definitely not. But people act like it, and it's kind of annoying. But I'll sit in the sneako zone, dude. I'll sit in the sneako zone. I'm like tucked in. I'm like right behind. Sneako's like, when they pull up the Family Guy chart, I'm the first one above the line that's like acceptable, and they're like, like how acceptable is this opinion? And it's like 6 shades of skin color. Sneako's the first one under the line, and I'm the first one above the line. Albanians and Italians and Sicilians and French, you can find a home here. Got the chilo look going on. It does feel a little Mexican today. And this double's coming back too. Oh, man, we're getting off topic so hard. Tick says, what shade of wheat am I? Yeah, right. It's like the 6 shades of wheat. You have like tan, golden brown, yellow brown, all the different categories, dark orange. Okay, but that's another topic in and of there. A few other items I want to get to. The one that I covered a little bit, but was the article from House, but I do want to talk about that I think is important if you don't know, is the one about Red Seat Ventures. We'll cover that too. So shout out to House. That'd be the community submission for today. No more deportations. That is the Mediterranean question. It's funny. No more deportations. And I say that not as a thing that I want, but this is the objective reality of where we are. We are not going to be getting mass deportations. Perhaps we get more deportations. I would imagine we certainly will. Will that be any significant amount? Not at all. Don't believe that for a second. And so what we got today is actually, again, and you guys, if you've followed the show for the last couple of months, you're going to catch a through line here again, which is Laura Ingraham had on Markwayne Mullins, and Markwayne Mullins was on a few different shows, but largely just Fox. And Laura Ingraham, once again, as a woman, is further to the right than Markwayne Mullins, a man, which should be dystopic in and of itself. There should be no man that exists to the left of a female, period. Period. I mean, just point blank. Now, there's going to be exceptions, but as a generality, the average man should be much further to the right than their female counterparts. But it's in this interview with Laura Ingraham that she's pressing again that no, people wanted mass deportations. And Markwayne Mullins says something to the effect of, we want to do these quiet deportations. We need some. I was thinking that, Donnie, I'm going to be honest. I think I was thinking about changing the community submissions to the House update or something to that effect. I do like that. It's funny. It's deserved at this point. We got to be honest. Forgive me, but it was also he's talking about doing the deportations quietly and doing deportations the right way and things of that nature. Obviously, all speaking to a de-escalation, things that we know of coming and have been happening. But further than that, what caught me off guard was Gregory Bovino. Now, you guys might remember, maybe you don't. Gregory Bovino was the guy wearing the SS uniform and the ice cold photos when he was aura farming. When he was initially brought up, I believe he was one of the head guys that ICE had who was coordinating in Minnesota, I believe. And he also was in a few other areas, but he was one of the higher up individuals who ultimately was relinquished. He was relegated, he was hushed and put away because his uniform and doing the deportations with the way he was doing them was bad optics. Gregory Bovino called out Markwayne Mullins on his position, which is awesome. And then I even saw Nick Sortor, someone I had lost all of respect for. But Nick Sortor highlighted him and said Bovino should be a potential. Maybe this is somebody who we should put back into a position of power. I doubt he gets it at all, but it was good to see Bovino call out Markwayne Mullins for backing down on deportations. People wanted mass deportations. We voted for mass deportations. That means mass amounts of people get deported. Not this, she said of, well, the illegal crime migrants and if they've done previous things and if they have 29 different tattoos, then maybe we'll do it, No, none of that. We want them gone. They have brown skin, they are gone. If they are not distinctively wearing white Air Force Ones and I can tell they're Black American, they are gone. If the woman speaks and I hear ring-a-dinga, gone, you are gone. No exceptions. That's what we voted for. That's what I voted for. I voted for the based golden age president that actually never existed. And in generality, that is what everybody voted for. They voted for seeing a lot of people going home. And while I'm on that note, I will give a second to give a side point. I'm rather insanely disappointed in both Andrew Wilson and Rachel Wilson. I won't send too many shots across the bow, but I want to let you guys know that I do believe that they are probably whether they're being paid or not isn't for me to say, but their actions speak to it. I do think there's something going on there. And very specifically, the very unfortunate thing with that is I saw this post. I think I said it to Splenda, one of the mods here in our Discord chat, but I said it to Splenda. I replied to Splenda, where Andrew Wilson, I believe it was 2 days ago, made a post asking for people to send him clips in. And of the clips, he said, can anyone send in clips to me of Trump explicitly saying he wouldn't bring us into new wars or something to that effect? I'm paraphrasing, but that was the ask. He was asking for people. And so why is he asking for that, right? And I think the reason why he's asking for that, him being this blood sports debater, is more than likely to make this broad point or make a very insane point. That is that Trump never said explicitly that he wouldn't take us to war with Iran, which is bullshit. Many people were posting clips of many moments and many quotes of his, some in video, some in just text form. But that's kind of the idea, which is, are you seriously trying to make the argument that because Trump never said it, despite all other signs, all other pundits, all other ostensibly everything about the campaign, the pro-peace ticket, blessed be the peacemakers, the no new wars candidate, that people had it in their minds that there was always going to be some high percentage chance that Trump would go to war with Iran? Like, that's the level of insanity we're at. And to me, probably like many of you, I'm sorry, like almost all my respect for you just instantly gone. And that is just literally insane. And especially too, because in the immediate, he's getting multiple paid pieces, right? So there's one of the top comments was a woman who had sent it in. And it's just, and he goes, that's behind a paywall. Can you just send me the clip? It's like, bro, it says in the meta text, the quote inside of it. It's literally insane. And so I guess that's the argument Andrew Wilson's going for. Andrew Wilson's going to push the argument that everyone was ready for it. Everyone knew that Trump was always going to be going to war with Iran. And I see oil price has been dropping all day. Dude. Oh my gosh. All right. Lord, I do have the strength. Lord, give me strength. And yeah, I guess here we are. I guess, yeah, glad the war is over. Oh my gosh. Can both King Solo Wings and Earl Grey Bandit, can you guys pull up the Strait of Iran, or the Strait of Iran, God forgive me. The Strait of Hormuz tracker? Any of you guys? Anybody? Anybody at all? Oh, man. The days get longer and my patience grows smaller. And let me go to this here. From Nativist Friend, we're going to get to all of this, so you guys can stick around if you want to, but I'm not going to jump around the stream because we got a bunch of literal ignorance in here. Go for late, Trumpio. You must go for late. You must go. I'm sorry. If you guys can't read, I don't care anymore. I literally have lost all respect for so many people. And I guess I'll leave it at that for now. Nativist Friend, thank you for the super chat. He says, Wilson pivoted off the blasphemy on Piers Morgan. I was screaming internally, quote, he asked if it offended you, not if the left was genuine in their outrage. I didn't see this. That's crazy. If Andrew Wilson defended any ounce of that, I'm sorry. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. If that's the case, then yeah, you all deserve to burn in hell. I mean, like, what do you want me to say to that? What level of mind raped do you have to be to sit there and defend the way that these people have been acting? The post, the heresy, he even deleted it. This is what we're dealing with, man. But again, I didn't see any of the Wilson comments on that, and I try not to watch too much Piers Morgan unless Wilson's on there. That's crazy. But thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. I'm going to have to check that out. I didn't see any of that at all. Typically, I see all the Piers Morgan streams come flying in too. And oh, what's up? It's that girl Casey. What's up? Yes, I know who you are. Sorry that your super chat's grayed out. I don't know why it does that on certain ones. But she says, it's me, bring the asteroid. Glad to catch you live. Meanwhile, you were right about Andrew Wilson. He flopped on the last Piers episode because he had to back Trump up 100%. I'm still working on a debate with him about this. Interesting. Hey, well, thank you very much for the super chat. Dude, all speed ahead and all good luck for you debating Andrew Wilson. As much as I think I could hold my own, he'd probably still beat me in a debate, to be honest with you. I'm not on that level. But yeah, WKC, W's in chat for Casey. I wish you all the success, and maybe he'll avoid you, honestly. And you should push hard on the JQ for Wilson. That's his weakest point. It's always been his weakest point. That's crazy. And no, but thank you for that. I know I don't typically see you in here too often, but congrats on all the on all your success too. I've been seeing all of you. We saw you in your stream announcements too, pushing for all of that as well. So WKC, hope you get that in. I'm going to start paying attention to Andrew Wilson now a lot more. They've been off my radar a little bit, but then if I catch anything of what they're saying, I'm like, are they pro Iran? Are they pro Trump on all of this? This is really what they are. And then I saw Rachel Wilson post like a massive one defending Andrew Wilson, and then I saw that one from Andrew Wilson on my own, and I was just like, there's no way. There's no way. And the reason why he has to go that low on the argument is because he can't defend that. He can't defend the fact that the average person, by all accounts, voted for Donald Trump for a few reasons. And those few reasons boil down to housing prices, better economy for one, the immigration issue, which is by all accounts, mass deportations. And thirdly, no new wars. Pro peace ticket. They themselves posted, this is the peace ticket. Blessed be the peacemakers. You can find these posts everywhere. I mean, as long as they, the White House and everyone else didn't delete them. And I'm sure somebody's got the screenshots. But good luck. Good luck, Casey. I hope you do well. Appreciate you stopping in too. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for the super chat. Massive there. And I guess maybe that's what we should go to. We have another story about the surrogacy thing that I did want to talk about. Obviously, I mentioned it in the Discord too, and I had a few couple posts on X about it. We'll talk about that as well, but I guess we'll go to the Iran war immediately while we got these idiots in here. So Trump posted on Truth Social. I'll just pull it up directly for you guys. We're going to go right to the source. And man, you guys are disappointing me. I'm getting blackpilled on Andrew Wilson right now. That sucks. This is somebody who I liked a lot. So here's Joe Kent. And this is a Joe Kent quote, but you guys know how I feel about Joe Kent, but we'll look at the Truth Social post is what I really want to read first of all. And this is in addition to the fact that Trump also did, again, attack Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, that crowd again, Tucker Carlson, I believe. I don't know if he mentioned MTG or Massey, but he went after the podcast group as well earlier today. This is what he says. Donald Trump says the United States of America will get all nuclear dust, the enriched uranium, created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the United States will separately work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. And he says, thank you, President DJT. Everybody just take a few minutes to look at these guys crashing out. You guys are great entertainment. I hope you know everyone in here is literally just smiling to themselves and smirking to themselves. And to be honest, I really don't want to be. I'm not even wanting to be rude to you guys at all. I mean, I hope you stay long enough to realize that you're being lied to and you're wrong, if anything. So I'll try not to attack you. Maybe we can get some. We do have plain trusters in here. Hope you guys are. Hope you guys can get some help. Get the help that you need. So this is the Truth Social post, and so there's multiple here. So this is the first one. This one's more so about the enriched uranium and saying, and you would read, by all accounts, you read this and you go, that's interesting. This is oh wow, so we're going to get the enriched uranium. The strait is open. A deal was done. Well, that's crazy. That's awesome. And no, I mean, quite literally, no. Iran has rejected all of these. We know that the last peace talks fell through, and we also know from all of the GPS data, there is no ship moving through the Strait of Hormuz. The blockade's still in effect on the United States side. And Rerum Navarum posted about an hour ago, just showing you a time lapse of the strait, that there was this push, because I would imagine many people seeing this post and seeing all the talk are like, oh wow, this must mean that the strait was opened. And so you see all of the ships pushing to go to the strait and then being turned around and rejected and being sent back. And so what's happening going on is that some ships are being allowed to pass, commercial ships, but only if they're paying the fee. So again, so Iran is in full control of the strait, and they're only allowing the ships that they have probably already done the code with, which we talked about that a little bit ago. But Iran seems to, or the IRGC seems to have some kind of passcode thing set up. It looks to be also being in assistance with China to allow certain ships to pass through, so long as they pay a fee and are deemed okay. Let me go up here. We have another super chat here. We have this from Caleb Kim and Rio. It says the content with the debate 304s is a little stale. And I do agree. I do agree with that. There's only so much. And again, the fact that those whatever streams are like 4 to 8 hours long sometimes is insane. Insane. Literally insane. Alec Barton says he found that we were right from the beginning channel. Shut up and learn something. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Nativist friend says Iran judo flipped it, so now we are wild. Yeah. And so again, you know, I you know, you can only really help people so much that have been brainwashed by this. This is one of the first things I wanted to say. And so, again, another portion of this, so there's 3 parts to this. The first is this submission or push that we are going to, and thanks for becoming a member, brother, appreciate it. This push from Trump that, 1, we're getting the enriched uranium. The United States will be getting the enriched uranium. So he's posing that the United States, in some way or form, is going to be getting the enriched uranium, or the trapped enriched uranium, which we know by all the reports, all the international reports, that the operation, the fallen pilots or whatever, was a botched operation to get the trapped uranium from the enrichment site that was in Isfahan, which is the one that's been blown in with all of the doors blown off, the tunnels collapsed. I think they're being serious, guys. I think they are being serious. So maybe they're trolling. Maybe, you know, if we have a little bit of hope, maybe they'll be trolling. And all the reports that followed in the days after made it seem that this wasn't a rescue operation, given the way that and where it happened, being so far inland, and that it all pointed to it was actually a failed operation to go in and get the enriched uranium in and out of the nuclear facility. The second thing that's being pushed is that the strait is now open. I think that was, I guess, a shorter and smaller Truth Social post, but Trump is now pushing that the strait was open. It's not. The third thing is that we saw, much like we've seen with all of these things that happen on the weekends, is a lot of these trade shorts on oil go through just right before the markets close. And just like that, it was just shy of $1 billion. It was around $732 million of trades were made in the minutes before and the minutes after these posts were made, right before the market closes on the weekend. And so this is once again going in the same vein. This is the same kind of MO and pattern of behavior we've seen through this entire conflict, which is nothing happens through the week and all the rhetoric speaks to peace, peace, peace. And that's meant to appease the market throughout the week. And then we get to the weekend when the market is closed. Then we see the strikes, the attacks, the rhetoric picks up, and then it calms back down again on the week. And this is obviously all being done in an attempt to ensure, in some sense, to give some stability to the market, no matter how fake or how puffed it is, how much is actually being exaggerated and being hyperbolic. Forgive me, there's a fourth element in this. Forgive me. Now I'm loosely forgetting the fourth one that I was going to bring up there. But the trading and the day trading is another massive element to this, which is many people have been speculating that there is people who are on the inside, whether it's staffers or administration officials close to the inner circle, are just that close to these meetings, or maybe they're passing off the information, something to that effect, because these people have been spot on and it's been consistent from the very beginning. Let me go up here and maybe not miss this one from Mr. Moss. Thank you, Mr. Moss, for the super chat. I appreciate it greatly. He says, it tracks that Trump supporters literally have negative amounts of pattern recognition. That's funny. And it seems to be very true, unfortunately. And so the thing here that Joe Kent is responding to, I'll put it back on screen here. This is the fourth thing that I remembered now, actually. This is the fourth element. So Joe Kent talks once again. He's there the moment these posts are made, and he talks about, he's giving his push of pushing and being restraining Israel, saying, well, if we want this to stick, we're going to have to ensure that we restrain Israel. And I think I've given those reasons why. We won't dive into that now. But what he says here is, he says, it appears that a historic deal is within reach, and it will hold if President Trump is willing to enforce the restrictions he's placed on Israel. This post indicates a good start. but it must be followed by actually limiting U.S. military aid to Israel. And not even just that, it was 40 minutes after, and Owen Schroyer made a post about this, it was 40 minutes after the ceasefire was supposedly, or this deal was supposedly had been posted or announced, that another Israeli drone strike struck Lebanon and killed another person. That seems to be the last military, but again, Israel's right there to ensure they never honor any ceasefire, and we're willing to obviously threaten that once again. So I'm unsure if that singular strike will be enough to throw things off, but it did look like Iran was seriously unwilling to move on anything until Lebanon was being actually treated in the same way that they had came to the ceasefire in the first place. So it looks like that's the reason why we've made any kind of push at all. So let me just, for everybody here, let me just go to Rerum Novarum, and we're just going to work our way back from all the things that have happened in just the last couple of hours. So you, and if they're still here, you less thans can understand like why you're wrong. Why it's already, maybe you won't, maybe it's just a lost cause, and maybe you're boomers and maybe I'm wasting my time. But we're going to go to Rerum Novarum, another news aggregator here. And so we can see some of this. This is like this came from today. This is the pinned one. Really actually scroll back here. And forgive me, guys, because my eyesight's so terrible. I literally can't read from that far away. It says, breaking, the RGC tells the cargo vessel Bagya Laxmi to turn back from the Strait of Hormuz as it does not have permission to cross. The vessel complies and turns back. Let's go down to this one. This is an hour old. Breaking, Iran has told mediators it will limit the number of ships allowed to cross the Strait of Hormuz and charge tolls for the remaining period of the ceasefire. Officials familiar with the matter tell the Wall Street Journal. The IRGC will also block ships they deem hostile. And again, overall, still altogether, they are maintaining that no U.S. or Israeli ships are allowed, period, to cross through the Strait of Hormuz. So if anything's making it through the Strait of Hormuz, it is not the United States and it's not Israel's. It will only be international. And I think at that, they're probably limiting ones that are linked to Europe as well, too. So you come down here as well. This is from the head of Iran's National Security Commission, Ebrahim Azizi. Quote, the time has come to comply with the new maritime regime of the Strait of Hormuz. These regulations are determined by Iran and not by social media posts. Again, going back, and the reason why they're pushing this is because Trump keeps lying constantly with this Truth Social post, confusing a lot of people, like many of you boomers who unluckily found your way here just to get attacked. Continuing here, under this new system, only commercial vessels with authorization from the IRGC Navy are permitted to navigate through designated routes after paying the required tolls. If the U.S. attempts to create any disturbance for Iranian ships, this situation can easily be changed. Earl got sent to the Shadow Realm. That's funny. Oh, look at this. 2 hours. I didn't even see this. Wow. Supposedly Lebanon, we're in a ceasefire and Lebanon's supposed to be getting protected. 2 hours ago, RN was reporting that Israeli artillery is shelling the southeast of Lebanon. Let's keep going. This is just in the last few hours. This is all all these Truth Social posts, right? So it's all peaceful. Iran submitted. We're winning the war, right? You idiots. It continues, quote, and this is from the foreign minister, I believe. This is coming from Mahmoud Nabavian, who's a member of Iran's Majlis and a senior principalist politician. Quote, we made the decision to allow commercial ships to pass in exchange for collecting fees, and we are doing that now. Based on our condition that the ceasefire in Iran and Lebanon be met, we have now opened the Strait of Hormuz. After our condition was met, we allowed commercial ships to pass, provided that they were not ships belonging to the Zionist entity. Here's another one. All of Trump's tweets are lies, a knowledgeable source tells Iranian state media. It goes down. This is from Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson. Quote, the U.S. president's claim about talks with Iranian officials is not true. It goes down. Again, quote, enriched uranium is as sacred to us as Iranian soil and will not be transferred anywhere under any circumstances. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Ismaili Bagay in response to President Trump. Now here's the map I wanted to hold up to you individuals who maybe not have seen this. And this is all of these ships being turned around. They are being turned around, and you can see them being bunched up. Now, sure, there are some that are making it through, but it is, again, probably those who got the pre-authorized access, probably being done again. They said some kind of passcode of some effect. Maybe it's a QR code. I don't know how they're doing it. But it is to say that it is all lies. It is lies. It is made up. And it's nonsensical. And for many of them, for many people, they're probably just confused because they probably are weeks away from knowing what the actual reality of the situation, what the truth is. And so all in all, what you have here is that we have, again, this ceasefire, if anything, was a strategic loss, not even a strategic loss, was a, in the words of Nick Fuentes, an unambiguous loss for the United States. The actions that we have done in this Iranian war has now led us to the position that one of the biggest global channel, global choke point on the world's global oil supply and fertilizer, specifically nitrate-based fertilizer, has now been moved from being a neutral area to now under the it is now under the sovereign protection of Iran. Now Iran controls it, and now they're going to enrich themselves upon it. And it's one way that they can build back better to also be able to compete with, what's the word? To compete with, forgive me. To be able to compete with the United States for building back, obviously all the things that have been damaged and destroyed. So if they can make money by the tune of a lot of dollars, who knows how much they're charging for this, but it'll be one way they can help get money flowing back into the country to repair and more than likely continue building missiles. Which that hardly was even stopped because the majority of the places they're building these missiles and the infrastructure is underground in places we can't reach. And do we have any plan trusters in here still? I don't know. I would like to interact with some of them if they're still in here. Maybe I can respond to something specifically. Thank you for the super chat, Hal. He says, "Watch yourselves on here. I got a strike for parody yesterday." Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, seems to be the case. Yeah, so make sure, always say in Minecraft. That can't be understated. Always say Minecraft. Yeah, perfect. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal. Thank you, House. Iran has told mediators it will continue to limit the number of ships allowed to cross the strait and charge tolls for the remaining period of the ceasefire. Yep. And it's just like that. You know what's funny is one of those guys who was in here, if he still is, who was King Solo Wings, he used to follow me. He used to be here and here all the time, and it was because that he wanted to defend Jews and and hate Muslims. That it was too much for him. Having an objective position on Christianity was just too much. I don't know what to tell people anymore because I don't know what's the solution to being mind raped. I literally don't know. I don't say that to be mean either. I mean, that is where a lot of people are. They are just literally broken. That's a good one. Zach Bartlett. Thank you for the super chat. He says, "I trust Trump like I trust Zeb to be on time." Man, you guys getting reg pulled the same as me. I show up at 9. I wait for the 30-minute intro to go. And then it's 45 minutes later. No, we need to, no. I'm sure there's good reason, right? No, we all love Zeb, dealing with the kids. Zeb's on Mexican time. What Zeb doesn't understand is that he's actually a groiper. And what he doesn't get is that it's because he's a groiper that he can't be on time. See, he's actually more of a groiper than I am. And you guys might not buy this, but he is. It is baked into his personality that he literally cannot stream unless he makes the audience wait for 2 hours. He just can't do it. It's just something doesn't sit right with him. It just doesn't sit right with him. That's funny. Uncle House says Beb heads in chat, or are they Bebbers? That's funny. There was blessing the rains down in Africa. I want to go bless the rains. I want to not do this sometimes, if you're asking me, truly. But that's kind of, I guess that's all I really need to spend on the Iran war. I didn't want to make that a big point or contention of today. but that is kind of like where a lot of things are. And it seems that people are just buying this shit. I don't know how you could. And again, too, like it's kind of wild to think that literally everybody, and even if you like didn't know, right? So like you were somebody who goes, you're smart enough to say, you know what? I don't know everything. I don't know everything, but I can at least follow trends and I can see broadly certain things. Right. And so like just think about this, right? Think about if you were somebody who you were at least smart enough to recognize you don't know everything. And you go, even in the loosest sense, if Alex Jones walked away, Tucker Carlson walked away, Marjorie Taylor Greene walked away, Thomas Massey walked away, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, like, you know, you could just keep going and going and going of all these people who supported him rather intensely and then have now all had to walk away because they can no longer defend the lying, the heresy, and the outright evil and the corruption that is Trump and his administration. You would go, well, I think there's got to be something to that, right? Surely these people all just didn't up and walk away for no good reason. But that is what people in the Trump camp have to tell themselves. It's that they are all fake MAGA. They're all whatever that means. And now they got to tell themselves, the coalition of never Trumpers who were all backing Ron DeSantis until literally the fourth quarter, you know, Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin and all these other Jews, that's the true MAGA. And I think therein you have your answer. And I think at that point, you just go, there really is no point. Like I'm the idiot if I'm trying to argue with them. You know, like if I see these guys come up and like, you know, Mark Levin, it's like, I'm the idiot. How stupid do I have to be to think these people can see reason, or like somebody said earlier, or have even the ounce of an ability to recognize pattern or pattern recognition? But let me not miss your super chat, brother. This is from Ugats. He says, do you think Fuentes is actually sick this week or planning something? He says, God bless Atlas. Well, I appreciate that. Well, like I'd said was it on Friday? I think he didn't even stream last week on Friday either. But I think that it was Kaiser Rev, one of the top clipping accounts, had made a post talking about how they thought that there might be a sign that he's doing a collab. Now, Nick said in his Telegram that he was sick, so I'm inclined to believe that. I don't know. Maybe possibly. I know people have been saying Alex Jones has not been streaming this week too. Maybe they're doing something together. Maybe they're teaming up on some kind of piece together, or that there's somebody else involved. Maybe they're running some kind of collab series like that. I don't know. It'd be curious if something bigger was happening. Oh, here's the other thing I was going to say. The New York Times article that came out, I think that's why he missed Friday. Because the New York Times article had photos, like up close, high quality, high fidelity photos. And I'm like, they definitely went to dinner with him. And I think in the article, they verbatim say they were at dinner with Nick, with his twin sister and his parent. So I think that's why he wasn't there Friday. Maybe he got sick over the weekend from doing something like that, being out and doing, you know, whatever he was doing with the New York Times. But maybe he's doing some other kind of news piece like that. And I wanted to talk about that too. We'll get to that later on, because some gripers did, and Nick was not happy at all. And we'll get to that because another news story dropped, or another piece dropped. I think it was from the CNN. I think it was CNN who published it. And maybe that's it too, the nonprofit, because there was another side project that was being done that was not the America First Foundation, that was like AF status, I do believe. And Nick came out and didn't condemn them, but he disavowed and said, like, I have nothing to do with this group. This has nothing to do with me. And I think they shut down their whole page, everything. So I don't know what happened with that and with those guys, but you know, seems like Nick's really getting irritated at everybody who's trying to go above and beyond him. Yeah. So if anybody's got any bright ideas, think again. So so that's kind of it for the Iran war. Somehow I've already streamed for an hour and I feel like I haven't talked about anything at all. So let's get back into, what do I really want to go into and spend time on doing? I want to kind of reset a little bit. The Iran war thing, that just kind of threw me off. I can't believe people are that stupid, to be honest with you. I didn't even mean that to be rude. Like, I think that's just like objectively, like, you have to be stupid to believe this, or you're just like mentally ill and you're lying to yourself, and you're being blackmailed, or you're on the Epstein list. I don't know. There's two of them. Let's go to the Heresy. Let's go back up to the top to the Heresy. And just to show you guys, for the viewers at home, who maybe did not catch this. I think this is a great post here from the Clash Report. So hopefully, I don't get copyright claimed to hell and back. But here we are.
So the prayer is CSAR 25:17, and it reads, and pray with me, please. The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother. And you will know my call sign is Sandy 1 when I lay my vengeance upon them.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my...
So that is your, and like I mentioned earlier, with the, I will say it was, I didn't like the editing on that either, to be honest with you. But you can see it's behind the chat here, but there's an RT logo. That's what Glenn Beck was upset about with this. That's what Glenn Beck was more angry at. That's what he decided to make a point about. Not that Hegseth had any heresy, but that we're in a propaganda war and you need to be careful that Russia's getting involved. Like, I'm not even joking you. I didn't have it in my outline because I didn't think I was going to pull it up on the screen. But just to show you. So I have a bookmark, but this is the first thing I saw from 5 hours ago. We're in a propaganda war. The video of Pete Hegseth quoting a fake Bible verse from Pulp Fiction is yet another example. The original post came from Russian media and was then amplified by a Turkish PSYOP account until it was picked up by a major U.S. outlet. It didn't include the additional context that Hegseth said he was badly paraphrasing Ezekiel. Badly paraphrasing is like when you're missing articles like the and it, and maybe you shortened it or you said something in a different way but still captured the same meaning. This is not what happened here. And is really the idea, is it what we're going with? That the American people, had it not been pushed by RT, that the American people would have just not been angry at it? Do you think that when the RT posted it would have been any different than if like Leading Report or the New York Times or the New York Post posted it? I don't understand even what this argument is here. Besides, it's just a deflection to talk about literally anything but the reality of the situation that is going on. Outside forces are using social media to build outrage amongst American people. That's crazy, Glenn Beck. Where have you been? Where have you been? Glenn Beck, I don't know, did you not read and maybe or spend any ounce of time like the Heritage Foundation's, multi-page report? I mean, it's like literally like 30 or 40 pages long of Project Esther from the Heritage Foundation, the American conservative think tank, where their whole goal is to build 28 different necessary conditions to ensure that they can literally obliterate anybody who is halfway deemed anti-Semitic off the face of the earth. Do you think it was Americans who pushed that, Glenn? Do you think when, I don't know, say, what's his face, Kevin, the president of it, when he was being reamed by his own organization, was it Americans who were giving the pushback because he wouldn't disavow Tucker? Or was it literally former IDF and Israelis in that room giving him that treatment? Hey, Glenn, when Mark Levin yanked Donald Trump by the neck and pulled him over and said, hey, look, our first Jewish president, can't you love the fact that he's our first Jewish president? No. And guess what? Where did that speech happen at? In America? No, Glenn, it happened in Israel. Or how about this, Glenn? How about when Miriam Adelson was asked, push came to shove, about which country she loves more, America or Israel, she wouldn't answer because it's Israel. Foreign involvement. Who's Miriam Adelson again? I don't know. Is she the woman that dumped millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into Donald Trump during his campaign into? Glenn, the foreign involvement's been here. You just don't like it when it's not your foreigners who are being involved. So miss me with this whole, it's being amplified by Russia. No one's hearing you anymore. And the best thing that you could do, Glenn, would be have some ounce of dignity. And if you truly were, and if you truly did, as much as I find the Mormon belief to be wrong and erroneous, but if you truly did believe in the truth, Glenn, I think you know in your heart what the right thing is to do, and it would be to stop lying, and it would be to apologize for every lie that you've pushed. If you truly actually felt that way. If you truly looked and you read your Bible and it said that the truth is the way that you should not lie. But I don't believe that. And I think he's a grifter, and I think he's honestly a terrible human being. Yeah, I'll wait for Kai Schremer to clarify. Crazy. Yeah, thank you, Glenn Beck. Now here's the other one. This is from Paula White. And this is, again, I just really want to play this for you guys because it is a mind-numbingly insane. But this is quoted by Carrie Prejean Baller. She says, Trump's personal pastoress is a heretical witch. But it's in Tunes. It says, Trump's spiritual advisor, Paula White. Quote, saying no to Trump would be saying no to God. Now remember, guys, this is the woman that all of the religious people brag that how close her office is to Donald Trump's Oval Office. So take a listen to this minute edit here. It's crazy what she says.
Wherever I go, God rules. When I walk on White House grounds, God walks on White House grounds. I had every right and authority to
Hold on, it's probably pretty loud. Let me turn it down some.
declare the White House as holy ground because I was standing there, and where I stand is holy.
To say no to President Trump would be saying no to God. And I won't.
Dude, like how does lightning not blow a hole through the sky? How does the ozone layer not immediately get ripped and fractured in half as if God himself grabbed it like a piece of paper and yanked? As a lightning catapults off of every cumulus cloud in the sky and land directly on the head of this woman as she is saying this bullshit. That's how you know God is merciful. That is how you know. And I'm playing this. I know you guys hate it, but I am playing this for all of those who haven't heard it, because I don't think it's enough just to know it's happening. You need to see it and witness it and hear it. You have to. It's the same way I think about the surrogacy thing, right? Many people will sit there and go, I think gays should be able to adopt and all of this. Okay, well, let me play you a video of a child who was born asking these two gay men for its mother, and they laugh in its face and say, no, mommy's not here, not getting a mom, no way, as a baby cries. That's what you need to see. And I'm serious, like that's the next thing we're gonna be moving to. This thing, I'm telling you, like the most angry I've been in a long time. I cannot explain to you the rage that coursed through my veins like a white Monster energy drink when I watched this gay man laugh in its child's face because it was crying for its mom. They thought it was hilarious. Look where we are. This is the golden age. Those men need to be in prison. And I don't care about any argument. I literally don't care anymore. I don't care what logic or laws or rules or reason, anything. Miss me with all of it. Those guys need to be yanked to prison. And here's the thing. I'm willing to even compromise on it a little bit and say, I will even take the most basic temporal victory in the sense that at the bare minimum, that child's rights should trump those two gay men's. That kid's right to its mother should trump those gay men's desire to have some kind of simulacrum of a traditional life because they are just disgusting sodomites. That kid deserves a mother and a father, and it deserves a home where a mother and father are present. I won't hear anything else. And guess what? The new MAGA, the MAGA that's left, is all the people who support that. They're all the ones who clapped and cheered for Dave Rubin when he did it with when he used his wife's eggs. Conservative America, everybody. And the fact that America still stands and was not smitten with fire and brimstone from miles across, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, I'm telling you, all I wanted to do was sit and pray to the Lord Jesus when I saw that video and said, take it all right now. I'm telling you, like, it's hard to even explain to you. As good as I can to speak sometimes, it is hard to explain the anger. And it is sad, you know, because the mom's involved too. The mom sold it off. She sold off her embryo or whatever, however they did that. So she should be charged too. But I can't sit there and resign that baby to that fate. At the bare minimum, we have to get this baby. We have to get this child. We have to get it home. And no, it's not Paula White who's cortisol spiking me. It's the fact that with these two, it's this video, and I'm gonna make you all watch it, and we're all gonna sit here, and we're all gonna maybe you won't be as angry as me, but I have a daughter who's like nearly the same age as this. I'm telling you, like, I cannot explain to you. And again, righteous anger. Everybody should be feeling that way too. You see two gay men holding a children and laughing in its face, literally mocking it because it wants its mom, and you don't get angry. Again, not to say you need to be crashing out or anything, but it's like, I think that's the natural reaction to that, right? But back to the heresy, back to new MAGA, back to the golden age, everyone.
We are in a spiritual war right now. Let every demonic network that has aligned itself against the purpose, against the calling of President Trump, let it be broken, let it be torn down in the name of Jesus.
You want me to tell you what my thoughts are? The thoughts of the King of Kings, the thoughts of the Lord of Lords. I'm downloading heaven.
You listen to this one. Okay, so that's her. That's a nice snippet of what she was doing, and it wasn't the only one. This was kind of the hyper or the super edit of a bunch of them all mixed together and like juxtaposed on themselves. There was another one that came out. I saw it from a Catholic guy, and it was funny because his caption said, "All Protestants read the Bible like this." And it's a snippet, and I'll just have to play it for you. I won't be able to do it justice. Here's another one. Let's react to this one too. Let me pull it up for you guys to see, but this is the caption I saw from this Catholic guy. He says, every Protestant reads the Bible like this. Thought it was funny. But this is her, and I wouldn't even explain it. Just take a listen to what she does.
Mark it out and put my name in there. It's important to write in your Bible. So right here, I'm Jeremiah 46, the word of the Lord which came to Jeremiah. I'd cross it out. I'd write Paula. Just like that. And I'd look at it. Now I know literally how to study this, but I was taking this saying, God, what is this saying to me? What are you speaking to me? And I started with the book of Psalms. Mark it out and put.
Oh, dude, it makes me, I'm telling you, like, I've been praying on it so hard. And this is, I'm not taking shots at Protestants here, but I've been praying on it really hard. And I'm telling you, all I've been seeing, what feels like to me, is it feels like God is pointing my attention very specifically at why Protestantism is ultimately extremely corruptible. And if you've missed it, what she's doing is she's striking out the name of one of the prophets. I forget who specifically, but she's striking the name of the person in the Bible, and she's like, I'm gonna put Paula there. I'm gonna write my name down so I know that it's speaking to me. And this is the rampant eisegesis I was talking about, which is there's no strong canon in the Protestant, like in the Protestantism. It's all of this my interpretation. What's the Baptist interpretation? What's Pastor John's interpretation today? It's a huge problem. Huge problem. But that's just another element of what she was doing, Paula White. And the last thing I'll put on this for while we're on the heresy here is the Troy Nels snippet. And this is the one that I got into my head that spoke to me more so that this is what and why, part and parcel, why Trump is now confidently pushing these things too. Why Trump is confidently posting himself with Jesus or as Jesus. I thought it was a doctor. Because I think that's what the rhetoric is surrounding him, inside and outside, both in the inner circle and the outer circle. And so here's this. This is a shorter clip. This is Troy Nels saying that what he thinks Trump is doing is like the second coming.
I think he's almost the second coming, in my humble opinion. I think he's done a fantastic job.
I didn't hear it.
I believe that Donald Trump is better than sliced bread. I think he's almost the second coming, in my humble opinion. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's got a very difficult job. Pope's got a tough job, got issues in the church. But Donald Trump has a very, very difficult job to do, the toughest job in the world.
And it's just sad. It's just sad. To unironically say these things, it's just sad. And so I highlight that one as it being less, it's obviously an insane thing to say. Is he Jewish? I don't know. He seems that way. Less insane than some of the stuff you see from Paula White, but really to me speaks to the fact that there probably are a lot of people inside the administration who are parroting this rhetoric, and now Trump is surrounded by it. So now this toxic, mega, everything Trump does is the best, you're the best president, oh, you can never do any wrong, is now also being married to, you're just like Jesus. You're doing things that Jesus would have done himself. You're saving the Jewish people. You're the Messiah. And it goes on and on and on. Is that Obama? No, way too much hair on that guy to be Obama. And it's just sad. It's just sad because it should be very easily spottable by people. But they're either being very openly ignorant of it, or they simply do not care, or they drink the Kool-Aid too. But now we're going to the surrogacy one because I'm already at the edge of my seat crashing out about it, and we're just going to finish it off. Pause. So this is the video I was talking about earlier. This is one came from Colin Rugg. So, a gay man with a husband posts a video of his baby asking for mama before laughing in the comment section about the idea. So I didn't see any of this. I just saw the initial video. But we're going to play it, and you guys are going to watch this, and you're going to tell me what you find to be incorrect about what you see in the photo. But here it is, and this is what went viral, and this is what I was responding to in the Discord as well, because all of these girls come out, all of these girl bosses, all of these reformed whores come out, and they go, if you're complaining about an LGBTQ family publicly online, and you have a porn addiction, you look like this. And it was some AI photo of some guy with a big piece of wood in his eye. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Zach Bartlett, he says, what are you leaning toward, Atlas, Orthodoxy or Catholicism? I still am leaning towards Orthodoxy, I'll be honest with you. But Catholicism has been speaking strongly to me lately. And if that disappoints a lot of the Protestant bros, I'm sorry. I'm speaking very honestly about this. I feel like I do a good job laying and articulating all the things I find to be wrong about it. I don't want to start any sect wars or anything like that. I want to find a place where we can talk objectively about these things without it becoming a shit-flinging war. But I don't know what else to say anymore. I really don't. And we have a video I'll react to as well, too, because Calvin Robinson tells Joel Webbin to his face that Protestantism is Jewish. So I want to react to that video as well, too. And maybe if I'm open and honest and being a bit more vulnerable with where I'm at with a lot of stuff, maybe people can also get an idea and get a sense instead of it being because I think for too many of these people, they want to win. They want to win somebody over. And I get that. I get that concept. They want to win someone over to their side because they find it to be more true. But I think inside of that, there's not even a deeper kind of connection to the actual, to the objective reasonings of, and more so done in like a win or a gotcha kind of moment in a debate. But here's this video, and we'll move on to the other stuff right after that. But here's this.
Hey. Who do you want, Dada or Pop?
Mama.
No, Mama. Do you want Dada or Pop? Who do you want? Dada or Pop? No. Do you want Dada? You want Pop? No way, Jose. I think. Oh, there is no mama. I'm so sorry. You have Dada and Pop. You have Pop. 2 choices. No mama. No. No mama. Dada.
Okay. So I can't even, I don't want to even look at it anymore. But I mean, like this is like why, I mean, like I was irritated when I first saw it, but it's equally as irritating seeing it the second time and the third time. It just makes me step into my Omni-Man. Yeah, I burn this planet to the ground. Like that's the only thing. I'm overwhelmed with that feeling of it would be better. It would be better to not, for one innocent child to not have to live, to be resigned to a fate to 2 gay men than it would be for the rest of the planet to continue. Like I just, like all I could think in my head was that scene of Omni-Man where he's like, he gets really angry and he was like, I will burn this planet to the ground. You know, I will destroy this bitch. You know, like I know I'm trying to, you know, make light of it too, but I'm sorry. It is so angering. Thank you, Caleb Camarillo. He says, W Orthodox, the history is well worth looking into. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I feel like I might have missed another one. And if I did, I apologize. I've been pretty rough with that one. I think I might have missed the one from Native's friend. It says, think about how its mom literally sorted off. But I do appreciate the super chats, guys. Thank you. The video is blood boiling. And I think if the record speaks for itself, we all, as Starbeam Knight puts in here too, what do you guys think will happen? What's the track record for gay men adopting and buying children? It more than likely will end up with a terrible scenario where this kid will be assaulted in unspeakable ways, and we'll see the New York Post highlight it a few months from now, and the world will continue, and this continues on. Meanwhile, in traditional family court, every male, every father who wants to be into their child's life gets raped and ran out the room, and every conservative acts like they care about family unit and family structure, but won't say a damn thing about feminism or speak to their wives in any kind of way besides getting on their hands and knees and asking for forgiveness. I hate with the deepest of hatreds of that is evil. Just as it says in the book of in the Bible, I hate it. I hate it because I know it is evil. And if anything, what I really can't stand is the fact that all of these conservatives are just too afraid to tackle it. And the thing is you think I go off stream after I rant about women, you know, especially early in the past, and I'm able to just dance and dodge the comments between, like, you know, my wife or, you know, girlfriend. I think I only really had my wife through the majority of it. But like even like my mom too, you know, I'm sure that she doesn't enjoy hearing me say things like that, but she recognizes there's a problem. And you go, what are they all so afraid of? What we watch Jeff Younger get publicly, essentially emasculated and castrated in front of the entire world to see, and all conservatives could do was have him on a show and go, "Wow, that sucks." All right, anyways, family court's broken. It's been broken, and if any conservative actually cared about the family unit, they would run on a platform that took direct aim at family court. They would take direct aim at the fact that judges are financially incentivized to assign child support. They get dollar matches, and the Treasury gets dollar matches per dollar per cent for the amount of child support that gets pushed. But why don't you know that? Why is that not on Fox News every single day? You know why? Because it would have to contend with the fact that single mothers are a cancer to this society. They would have to contend to the fact that what's making them single mothers. Is it all these dudes just walking out on them? Sure, that's in some cases, but it's not even close to being the majority or even the general rule, the general principle. It is the fact that there is a severe cancer of the brain on most women, and it is this neurotic feminism that has blown open into a whole just some mess, some chaotic mess. They're literally the woman kidnapped this guy's kids with the sole intention of transing them. Where are conservatives? At this point, abolish family court. I would rather that. And you know what would happen if a family court got abolished? Women would have to actually think twice before they went up and nilly-dillied and thought the grass was greener on the other side. Because you lose the instant concession of now this man sends you money every month. It seems less green on the other side when you don't instantly get paid for that decision. And I know we have a matriarchal and genocracy is what we live in, but that's we can't forever. And I'm going to be honest, like this is, if anything, this is like the most important thing that needs to be tackled above almost anything is family court. It is, if the family unit is the most important unit and it's the building block of society, and family court is preventing that at large and in general from forming, or is like basically a kind of like mutation, or it's a retardant on the ability to form, then doesn't the logic imply that solving family court issues should take extreme priority? If our goal is to rebuild society and rework American society for a better society, and the family unit is the base building block for said society, then we should probably fix the things that are damaging, and corrupting said base family unit. And it's just not happening. So, there we are. There we are. Surrogacy is evil. By all accounts, it is evil. We did the heresy. We have a couple more I wanted to get into before I'll go to the Protestantism as Jewish take from Calvin Robinson. The other thing would have been the no-more deportations, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the stream, which was Laura Ingraham somehow once again being further to the right than the man that she's interviewing, which was Markwayne Mullins. And so I'll go ahead and play this interview for you guys. We're taking another hard segue off into a bit more of the domestic political scenario, but I'll put this on screen for you. Gregory Bovino did call him out, again, the guy who was being highlighted, and he had all of the wear, all of the SS wear and all that jazz. But here's Markwayne Mullins. He says, we're a nation of immigrants, to Laura Ingraham, who was pushing back on his quiet DHS policies. So here it is.
So we want immigration. We want legal immigration, people that want to make the country stronger. We're a nation of immigrants. We understand that.
The right kind of immigrants.
But the right kind of immigrants, that's right.
We want mass deportations, Mr. Secretary. That's what the American people voted for.
We want to deport all those individuals that came in illegally. Here's the catcher.
How much does it cost to deport an illegal alien?
$18,225 on average to go through the prosecution to deport individuals. Now, you think about it. Underneath the Biden administration, 20 million individuals came here illegally. If we go through the process on every single one of those, do the math on that at $18,225 per person.
Well, why does it cost that much?
Well, because of the way the laws are written and the way that they can claim asylum, the way that we have to provide the attorney for the individuals, the way.
Here's a solution. There's a solution. Or maybe change the process of deportations as well. And so he's detailing how much money goes into it too. And think about that. For us to even have deportations, or the ones we've already gotten anyways, they're paying for their flights. So your tax dollars aren't even really going to the actual efforts. They're just paying for these people to get on a plane. And that's kind of even more insane. Like, what do you mean plane tickets to get out here? Take them to the border and say, do not cross this line ever again. See ya. Now, sure, the Pope might disagree with that because he would find it to be, not, what's the word? Not respectful, I think was the way that he said it. But again, Uncle House, Iran deported 1 million Afghanis during the 12-day war. And think about that. They were using, we read about this, I think it's a month or two ago, or some time ago when we were reading about it. but they were doing them by the busload. They were using them all like their city buses and things, just sending them in back and forth through the ports, like during wartime too. And they're able to manage that. You know why? Because they actually had the intention and the willpower, and they wanted to deport them. This administration has none of that. No willpower and no any actual desire to deport these people. But he continues.
They clog up our judicial system, and then we have to pay. Yes, and then we have to pay to deport the individual at the same time. Now, fortunately, we're able to do it. During the Trump administration, we've already deported 2 million people in the first year of the Trump administration.
No, 2 million have self-deported. You've deported about 700,000, correct?
Well, we have deported 700, but they deported on our deportation. So we deported them because we gave them a check, paid for the ticket, and then we sent them on. So it wasn't self-deportation. We were initiating the drive. So
not only do you get deported and they pay for your ticket to go home, they also get some kind of check too. Like, are you kidding me? Can you think about all the Americans who are like suffering, but the illegals who crossed over here are getting a free plane ride back. Sure, it might not be first class, but then they're getting a check on top of it. They're like, sorry, you did legally come here and you shouldn't be here in the first place, but here's a bunch of money and here's a free ride back home. So insane.
We claim that we deported them as well. We just didn't have to go through the process of it.
Yeah, paying $18,000 per illegal, that's a drop in the bucket, though, compared to the damage they caused this country.
Yes.
So I don't think voters want to, I mean, that's horrible, and that shouldn't be. But they cost us lives, jobs, opportunities,
without question,
seats in schools, our healthcare industry, our hospitals, etc.
We're not slowing down.
Yeah.
We're going after the illegals, and we would love for them to leave on their own, and we'll assist them. We have programs to help assist you to go back to your country because.
Well, I mean, he's just straight up lying, right? Like if that was true, if every self-deportation, right? Because we're talking about I think it was somewhere in the range of like 2 million, right? It was like 1-point-something million self-deportations, something like that. If that was actually true, what he's saying, well, then we should have an actual paper trail of all of the times, like all the checks that were sent. We should have a paper trail of the plane tickets, all of these, but we don't have that. The self-deportation number is a reference point that came from, I believe, Pew Research Center, which didn't come from anybody self-testifying. It came from them looking at the different numbers of like immigrants coming in versus immigrants leaving, and like just doing some math and kind of guessing based on census data that it seems like this many people maybe left. But how do you even know if those were like self-deportations or if they like simply just left for months at a time? You don't. And so if this was true, it would be something that the Trump administration would be bragging about. If this was actually true, they wouldn't be bragging about the money aspect, but they would be posting the paper trail that would show this and prove this. And the reason that they haven't over this extended period of time is because it's not real. It's not true. The self-deportation number is a myth, and it comes from just loose math that was done by the Pew Research Center. And it's just a joke. It's just this, like everything else in this administration, it's just a big major joke. And that wasn't the only thing that he'd said. This was him and the Laura Ingraham spat back and forth, but you could see that she was clearly like being a little bit contentious with him, pushing back on him. So it only have 60,000 people too. Okay, I was trying to remember what the data set was that they were using and looking at. But the other element of this is that Gregory Bovino called him out, something to the effect of Americans didn't ask for quiet deportations, they asked for mass deportations. And there's another segment from Markwayne Mullins about that Gregory Bovino's responding to. We're similar to Tom Homan with the de-escalation and the winding down. Markwayne Mullins is similarly making this point that what we want to do with deportations, we want to quiet. I think he says something to the effect of, we don't want to be the lead story every day. I mean, you think disappearing and doing less deportations will get you away from the front page when the majority of the people who voted for the president who won the popular vote, so even by definition, the majority of people who did vote, it just in general, voted for that platform, specifically mass deportations, I would say is the number one or number two ticket item ostensibly that Trump was going to give us. And now we're going to do it quietly. It's like, no, like you're going to be, if you think that if anything is going to change, if you just somehow like stop talking about it, that people won't be digging it up or talking about it day in and day out, or be noticing or finding some way to report on the fact that they're not happening, You're kidding yourself. And it's just damage control. The change at the top was, I mean, Kristi Noem obviously was involved in some stuff with the weird like day one dollar payments to some shell company, and sure, there's probably something illegal there too. But she was also just generally bad optics. Kristi Noem was terrible optics. And if it looks to me that Markwayne Mullins is simply just trying to appease all these optics. He's trying to kind of mask what the problem was initially and connect to the Mike Lawlers of the world and be a reasonable or a common sense type of guy to, I would imagine, push for that kind of legal standing, the legal status that was pushed for by Mike Lawler and the team of Republicans, the 27 Republicans, who joined up with a bunch of Democrats who said we need to provide not amnesty, but 7 years legal status was at the end of the day. That was what they were proposing, was instead of going and rushing these deportations, we should give these people 7 years legal status and then we'll decide what to do. And that's just bullshit. Everybody knows it. The emotional story, the passive story that's going to build up from that afterwards, do you think it's going to be easier? Like just point blank, do you think it would be easier to deport somebody who came in 3 months ago and, you know, doesn't have children, or maybe only came in with like a wife or something and only recently bought an apartment somewhere? Or do you think it would be easier sell to deport someone who's been here for 9 years and has multiple children and is married to an American citizen? Do you think that's actually easier? No, of course not. It is, by all effects, it provides them amnesty. Because everybody knows you're not going to win over the average woman by saying, we know he was been here for 10 years, but he is brown and he did cross illegally, you know, back in 2023. So he needs to go. It's just not going to work. It's going to be a much harder sell for the average person who, I mean, you even saw it with Andrew Schultz, right? This retarded comedian. The moment somebody gets shot because they're a retarded leftist who wants to get in the way for, you know, Ree Valentina can say it better than me, but to get in the way of a black person who wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, they go, oh no, everybody stop. Rights and laws and none of this matters. America being a nation, none of this matters. We need to, you know, not, we need to not, the brown tears are too much for me. I can't survive. You know, and they keep replaying a video of like some 400-pound torta in the back seat crying about her husband being gone. I'm like, this works on people? How does this work on people? All I see is some obese brown dude crying, like, see ya, bye. How do people not connect those dots? How do you not look at your family, your children, and go, I love you so much more than I could ever love any other person. They are strangers to me. How do you not, like, that's what is natural. Norvis Ordo is natural. I don't even know if I said that right. I think I said it wrong. Because I tell you what, I look at my daughter and the fire of something is inside of me. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to die and not fight as hard as I possibly can to try to, at least in the most loosest of sense, even if it's on the margins, 1%, because that's how much it means to me, that I would do everything in my possible power to give my children a better chance than what I got. To not let them fall face first into the fate of what the boomers have done. To not fall face first into the network and the flailing, burning, airplane that is the United States, of the 401ks and the pension funds and the benefits that were all wrapped up into these bullshit programs that all they did was leech off of you and I's and the younger generation's future. They borrowed against our futures for their presence, and they're not even, and they're the biggest, they stand there in the way and they say, you should do exactly what we did. And I can't do it. I'm not pushing my children into that hellhole. And if anything, dude, I would do everything I possibly can to ensure I can just, even if America falls, try to do whatever I can to just provide that buffer, because how could you not? How could you look at everything and go, well, you know, this is how it happened to me. Guess my kids deserve it too. Are you kidding me? Or all this blackpilling in general, like I can't shake that. I'm sorry. I can't shake it at all. Our founding fathers literally would have burned. They said it would have been they would have rather die than pay 3% more taxes on teas. That's where we come from And I'm sorry that you don't have that dog in you, but like I clearly do. I clearly have some ounce of the founding fathers' blood in me, because I refuse. I refused. And there's no amount of somebody saying no, no, no. Like, I'm sorry. I think it would be better that this nation be utterly destroyed. I think it would be better that we all have some kind of final stand. And if we lose, I think that's better than living as slaves and being a subjugated peoples for forever, or in perpetuity, as the American empire slowly becomes the Greater America Project. Glenn Beck. Let me listen. What would AI George Washington say? It's just funny, you know? They're always pulling up the founding fathers, but they refuse to look at the things they actually believed and what they would have done if they were in the same exact scenario. They refuse to acknowledge it. But it's the truth. Drop George Washington off right now and tell me how many bodies he has before the minutes are done. I mean, it's just a joke. Everyone's lying. The whole network is lying. The whole group, the whole scene. It's just a lie. Yeah, the founding fathers weren't Albanian. Yeah, funny. But it's just a lie. And they all know it. And they're all lying about it. And they're all hiding something. It's all, avoid women. Avoid the founding fathers. Avoid actually what revolution would have been. Avoid the fact that we knew this was coming. Avoid the fact that this nation was built specifically for white men. They even just said it in the interview too, but the right kind of immigrants. Well, what were the right kind of immigrants? What did the founders believe? No, we'll avoid that. We actually know better than the founding fathers. No, you don't. Don't even play me with that. But alas, here we are. But I wanted to move on. I wanted to move on to a couple of things while I'm on that. I know I said we'll go to the Calvin Robinson saying Protestantism is Jewish, but I wanted to talk specifically about this topic first, and then we'll go to that. But I spoke about this on the last stream, and it was submitted by House as well. So we have to do the drop. We have to, but you'll probably see a new one coming. It might be the House. The House always wins. Drop, but here it is.
This is today's community submission.
So the community submission, or the House submission as it was, came from an article from the Conservative Treehouse. And this article was specifically outlining the fact that many people are under the illusion that all of these previously and formerly working for or Fox News employees are anything but. And so to make better sense of that, it would be all these people who formerly worked for Fox News but don't work for Fox News anymore. So there's like a list of them, right? You have people like Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, Piers Morgan, Bill O'Reilly. So the article, and the main point of it, is to dispel that illusion. And the point that they make is actually that the majority of these people, if not all of them, are still working for a Fox News subsidiary under Fox Media or Fox Corp. I'm confusing the two of them. There's like 3 different ones. But they're highlighting the fact that Fox Media purchased this company called Red Seat Ventures. Now, Red Seat Ventures, I believe, is it's either based in Boston or Chicago. I think it's Chicago. Because they get their name from Fenway Park, which there's that red seat in Fenway Park. I'm not really sure what the connection is, but that's where their name comes from. And they expanded their operations through podcasting. And so they say, like, verbatim, that what you think is you think you're not watching Fox News anymore, but really you're just watching the Fox News podcasting division. It's like you're watching the minor leagues of Fox News, or the major league, or whatever way you want to say it. It's just a different branch of the same thing. It's not Fox News, it's Fox News Plus, basically. And so they say, and they go on to say that Tucker, Megyn Kelly, Piers Morgan, Bill O'Reilly, and many more, there's also people like Brett Cooper and a few others in there, still work for Fox, but with a different name. And so there's also 2 other networks they also highlight in there. So Red Apple Podcast Network is another corporate conglomerate, and they have people in there like Roger Stone, Larry Kudlow, Greg Kelly, and Sean Spicer. And they make the point too in there, which is to say that when you notice that a lot of these podcasters seemingly have the similar guests on all the time over and over, you go, oh, that's why. It's because they're more than likely inside the same conglomerate, building narratives inside their own networks to bounce off of each other from. So really what you think is the news is actually more so it's a narrative that they've built by continually hosting each other over and over again, and it builds and it spirals up. You probably have seen the same things with Tim Pool. Tim Pool have on very regular guests with people like, what's that weird looking woman who looks like her face got punched? What is it? Like this? You know who I'm talking about? What is her name? Bro, literally it's like this. What is her name? How am I struggling this bad? I followed her all the time. Not Laura Loomer. Loomer's nose is like, Loomer's nose is like this. No. I need something bigger. Do I have a bigger object in here? Loomer's nose is like this. I don't even know if I have a big enough object to use it for. Libby Emmons, thank you. Yes, Libby Emmons. Yeah, Libby Emmons looked like, dude, like a concrete, like she sleeps with a concrete block on her on her face, on her nose. But it is to say, it's something I even noticed when I was watching them, back there and then. Just turn sideways at work. Is my nose big enough? At least mine's straight though. Don't clip this though. No, now I'm scared. No, okay, just kidding. No, you ready? I was doing this earlier. I looked like that guy from that meme because I was like straining when I was doing squats. I don't know if I can do it again. I can't get it. I have a strong vein like goes like right here and it was sticking out earlier today. I'm like, I look like that guy from the meme. That's funny. But no, so I get so off track, dude. The point I wanted to make with that was I noticed it even when I was watching Tim Pool myself. And it's very clear that they use their previous appearances with each other, or they harken back to older episodes and they go, well, don't you remember when Roger Stone said this last week? Remember that story that Roger Stone talked about? And it's like they use that to build up their own narratives. And so there's a secondary one, which I found this to be a bit more on the nose, no pun intended, called Westwood One, which also has another name, I believe, called Cumulus. But that one includes Benny Johnson, Dan Bongino, and Mark Levin. And you got those three all working in tandem together too. That's the network they're all kind of signed to as well. And it wasn't just limited to the politics people too. Colin Cowherd was listed as a client, I believe. I don't know if he was under as a creator, but as a client, I think it was. There's a few other commentators in that space as well that were formerly with Fox News or Fox Sports, and then also are inside of this conglomerate. So it's very clear it's got Fox all over it. It's just like they moved away from the Fox News desk. Still employed, but just at Fox over there. You work at Fox News? No, I work at Fox over there. Like that's basically the same thing. But instead of saying Fox over there, they go, well, no, we're teamed up with Red Sea Ventures. And so anybody who doesn't look into it, they go, oh, okay, Red Sea Ventures. That seems like pretty cool. But Red Sea Ventures is owned by Fox. So it's literally the same thing. Yeah, don't. Anybody who unironically watches Tim Pool, no. In Minecraft. No, I don't want to like hand message. I don't need YouTube to have any more reasons to not like me. But I wanted to point that out to you guys because it's very clear that, if you look at this, and I'll pull up the website just so you guys can see this as well. This is, here we are. And I went specifically, this isn't the main page, but if here, I'll show you how I got here. This is like their homepage. We're named for the red seat at Fenway Park, which I believe is in Chicago, right? Or is that in Boston? I don't remember. It's in Boston, actually. I don't watch baseball. Don't attack me. I don't care. But it was what we do, right? So they're creators. And if you click on this, right, you can see sports. Now, Colin Cowherd's not listed here, but he's listed on the About Us, not here. Where's the homepage? He's like down here somewhere. Our clients, the herd now, right here. A couple of these guys, Mike Rowe here. Some of these I'm not familiar with. Barry Weiss is listed here as well, too. Yeah, Colin Cowherd's quote was down here. That's how I saw his. So they're all affiliated. And so if you go to this, right, what we do, our services, our clients, Barry Weiss, Bill O'Reilly, Chris Hansen, Jesse Kelly, Mike Baker, Megyn Kelly, Piers Morgan, the New York Post, What do they all have in common, huh? And then if you go to their creators here and you switch over, you to news and commentary, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Brett Cooper, Piers Morgan, Dana Loesch. Wow, literally, dude, I can't stand this woman. Absolute. She rages me so hard. If there was ever a woman that could rage bait me, it's my wife and this woman. There's two of them, and I can't tell you who does it better, to be honest. Sean Spicer, there he is. Jillian Michaels, of course. Jesse Kelly, which is kind of surprising given some of his takes, but not too surprising. Mike Baker, right? Mr. Dirty Jobs guy. I don't really know. Got an idea, but it's from that last name. Link Lauren, don't really know. Ruthless. Greg Gutfeld's down here. Will Kane right here. I don't know some of these other guys. Brian Kilmeade I'm familiar with a little bit. Will Kane, formerly from ESPN too, but joining over to Fox. You could see this. If you look at this frequency, 2 times per week, he runs a show. I mean, like, look at this. They have all the details. There clearly are listed as this. I mean, and if they weren't, why are we not seeing any, defamation cases? Because it's true. I love the ads. I love reading the ads. And now I'm convinced that if I hadn't made it in news, I could have had a career reading ads. I'm telling you, it's fun for me. Bro, crazy, dog. Megyn Kelly didn't even make it believable. Oh my goodness, bro. Like, okay, dude. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to highlight that to you guys, and shout out to House for that. House is the one who put in the article, and it is still in #tinfoilhat.com in the Discord if you are in there. And if you are interested in joining the Discord, just ask a mod, spam a mod, spam them out, tag them. Say, I want my furry costume now. No, don't say that. Don't say that, because we only have a couple left, actually. I only have a cat and the pink horse one left. And the pink horse one's reserved by me, but we do have an orange cat for no. Just trying to confuse people a little bit. Don't make me angry or the furry costume comes on. Don't make me angry or I go in the furry outfit. What are we doing, man? Okay. So I wanted to highlight that again. Shout out to House. Have to shout out House for that one. And where was the other one I wanted to do? This is going to be the last one. I did have a smaller topic segment on the fact that Trump attacked the same people again this morning, but you guys really don't need to see that again. You probably know the same thing. He said the same things over again. But I wanted to react to this very specifically because this is Calvin Robinson, who posted a clip of one of his last sit-downs with Joel Webbin. And in it, the caption reads, Protestantism is Jewish, but he also makes the argument to Joel Webbin in the video clip. So I've not seen this. It's not going to be real React content. So I want to see what this reaction is all about. But here it is with follower Calvin Robinson and Joel Webbin. Protestantism is Jewish. Take a listen. And is that Redeemed Zoomer as the top comment? Oh, I love it. We love to see that. All right, here we go.
I mean, let's be honest. I've always been under the impression that atheism is just Judaism.
Believing anything, yeah.
Atheism is Judaism, like in many ways. I think that.
Well, it's a denial of Christ for sure.
It's a denial of Christ, but atheism it's a Jewish project, and in many ways, like
you could argue that Protestantism is too.
Yeah, no.
We got layers here, guys. We got layers.
I enjoy a good joke.
Okay, this isn't a joke.
We'll determine that.
Many reasons. One is the canon of the Bible. Okay, so the Catholic canon of the Bible.
Right, you have some extra books in there.
Right, because the Protestants said, let's look at what the Hebrews have in their canon. Let's take the Jewish canon rather than the Catholic, the Christian canon. They took the Jewish canon. Likewise, Protestantism is.
So I've not heard that before. I'll have to look into that. He's saying that the reason why the Protestant Bible has less books of the Bible in it is because they chose to adopt more of the Jewish canon of the scripture instead of the Christian canon of the scripture, which it's the first time I've heard this.
That is a Jewish breakdown of the order of God. So it's more like you can believe that, but not that. You can believe that, but not that. It's the pick and choosing of bits of Christianity in order to lead people away from Christianity. Whereas rather than having the fullness of the truth, you can have that bit of the truth and reject that bit and still be in good stead with God. That's That's like the Jewish loopholes of we can turn the lights off automatically and not break the rules. That's not true. We know that not to be true.
Which that stuff is crazy. I'm glad those videos have went away. Have you noticed how like all of a sudden those videos disappeared since the Israel thing's been a problem? It was like at the peak in 2023. I'm getting all these crazy videos of like, and here's how I turn my lights on and off on Shabbat. So technically, as a Jew, we're not supposed to do this. But here's how I triple flip and dance. And then if I lean and I sleep this way, I typically fall asleep in the same direction as the light switch. And around 7 in the morning, my face will pull the light switch down. But I technically didn't actually turn the light off. You know, I was seeing these everywhere. Do you know how you can find kosher Coke in stores? Did you even know this? Now I see the yellow label everywhere. But all the videos are gone now because it was killing them on the PR and the optics because of everything going on.
I hear you. I think Protestantism is the inevitable and tragically, and don't miss that word tragically, necessary reaction to the abuses of Rome. I think that if Rome would have cut the crap, then I don't think any of this would have happened.
But it's a two-pronged approach. So the Jews have been infiltrating the Roman Church for a long time.
Yes.
Most of Vatican II was Jewish and/or Protestant. Nostra Aetate, which people often say is the one that is the document that makes it sound like Jews have salvation outside of Christian truth, which is not true. That document was drafted by a Jew. Like, there's lots of infiltration within the church, but also Satan wants people to leave the church. And so I think both fronts were an attack of the enemy. It's us. It's our fallen nature. It's sin. Of course it is.
What I would say in there, and I don't want to pause it too much, but that's what I'm talking about with like having a actual vulnerable discussion. When Joel didn't get angry at the response, but he gives a response. I never heard from him, but he says, tragically, had Rome not done these certain things, maybe it wouldn't have happened this way. Father Calvin doesn't get angry at this response, but he almost kind of like, he concedes the point and then continues like that. This is helpful. Not the sham shamoon screaming at each other and then having a bunch of idiot Muslims on there who like won't let you get a word in either. I like hearing this kind of stuff. I like learning about this kind of stuff.
But he's driving it. The enemy is driving it to drive us away from the one true living God.
Yeah, I agree. Sadly, there's a lot of Catholic charities that you look at the board of trustees that make it up, that they're all pushing for immigration and getting millions and millions of dollars, especially to bring more foreigners in. And you'll look at the makeup of like top 6,
My OSB has 83 books in it,
board members of massive Catholic immigrant charities, and 5 out of 6 of them will be Jewish.
Yeah.
It's like, how did that happen?
How do we keep our defenses up against Judaism infiltrating our Christian faith?
Listen, and that's going to be the conversation. The conversation may come together. Like, Christians may come together and have the conversation about the differences between the sects, because the outside, the exterior problem is a much bigger problem, which is the fact that it is all of this Jewish subversion and Jewish infiltration and the outright lying and obfuscation and attacking and discrimination and oppression of Christianity. And there's really no other way to say it. And many of them have spoken to this. There's quotes, you can find them, but this is the state of Christianity. And this is why I think there's a lot of reasons that you could say why men have been leaving Protestantism, and why the Ortho Bros became a big thing over the last couple of years. Why even more recently, I think you see a lot more of men returning to like the Catholic Church or walking away from the church on the West. And for some guys, it's feminism. For some guys, it's the subversion. They find out about the Schofield Bible and they see, and they see some of these tricks inside of there. They see maybe what they saw at the very beginning, which is like this canon, and like the canon seems to be very, very restrictive compared to the more robust canon that exists between both Rome and the Orthodox. And I just like seeing that. This is kind of where the cracks are, and so the conversation happens in the cracks. And I like it. I think it's good overall. And this is why, as much people are like, they don't like Joel Webben for whatever reason, I don't really care. I mean, I just like it because he's clearly and willing to push the conversation down the field. This is what we need. And I think some people see that, like, you have to be 100% aligned. And it's just like, I just find that to be an idiotic way to go around things. In the temporal sense, that is, which is to say, like, to move in the infrastructure of the American ecosystem, the political system, as well as the way that conversations just typically happen. So, I'm all for them. I know there's a lot more people who are like a lot tied up to the Stone Choir crowd who, really don't like Joel Webben because of maybe comments he made about them in the past. And I'm not 100% up to date on all the differences between them. But regardless, I'd like to see this continue, and I'd like to see these conversations happen this way. I'm curious if they could get an Orthodox bro in there too, right? You have the Catholic, you have I believe Webben is a Reformed Baptist. I could be wrong about that. Let's get the Ortho bro in there. Let's do this every week. Let's have these vulnerable, non-screaming conversations and educate these guys, educate these brothers. That's what we need. What we don't need is Lizzie and Ali Bestucky and every woman on planet Earth on this side of the hemisphere ignoring the most simple and basic commands of St. Paul and Timothy to lie and subvert the Bible. I mean, and if anything, that in and of itself is a negative loop, and all it does is churn out men, and it makes men go, I don't even care about this. So if you cared about the truth, and you cared about what is objectively true, and you care about what is doing the right thing, and you care about doing good, you would care enough to tell women to shut up and obey the Bible. And maybe that sounds too harsh to you, but I really don't care. Men are actively walking away from hearing the word of God because women are destroying it. They are corrupting it. And there's no other way to go about that. So if you cared, you actually deeply cared, you would get a handle on that. Now, I can only do it so much, right? And it's only going to be so much of effective coming from me. But I think that's in every person's life, every man's life. If they were able to find the balls and the cojones to stand on that and hold their convictions, we may actually see some changes. It's not going to be easy. Hell, none of this is going to be easy. And I'm sorry, it never will be. If anything, we have a much taller task and a higher mountain to climb than any generation of man or European or white man has ever seen in their life before. And this is just where we are. So it might suck and you might get screamed at. There might be terrible arguments, but it's like, is it worth living your entire life lying and omitting and hiding from the truth? I mean, like, I don't even know what that looks like. I sure as hell don't want to be the one to stand in front of, an answer for that and say, well, why did you lie? Why did you know what the truth was, but you lied because you couldn't handle an angry woman? Was I not? Was I not worth that? Was the truth not worth that to you? And then you think about the apostles who literally got killed for it. And it's like, I'm sorry. I'm going to handle a woman being angry at me because the many disciples and the good disciples before us were literally killed, and they did so happily. So don't come to me about any more temporal consequences you may face about doing what is right. I don't care anymore. The country is gone. There's almost nothing to even live for anymore. The average American man, if they make it to 30 without thinking about killing themselves, that's an accomplishment now. That is where we are. That's a society that we have. I don't want to hear it anymore about what the temporal consequences may be. If you are unwilling to handle that, I don't know what to tell you. And if anything, it's going to probably be a lot harder. And if anything, it's in our form today. Nowadays, it's like this kind of psychological form. It's like feeling like everyone's out to get you. Everyone's talking behind your back. You're being gossiped with. You get the female version of it. You get the matriarchal kind of laydown, which is they corrupt your reputation. Everyone thinks of you as like some hateful, bigoted monster. Well, Jesus said they hated me first. I mean, what reason do you have to keep telling yourself that it's not worth it to fight for the truth? It's not worth it to, I just can't hear it anymore. I'm unwilling to hear it anymore. And I think people who say that are cowards. I don't mean to attack anybody, but I do ultimately think that. So with that, that's gonna be it for the show. Kind of covered a good bit of stuff. Only things I didn't cover was Clav preferring Burger King, which I thought was funny, but it was just a reaction to one of the funny comments that he had said. It looks like him and Will Vicky are bound to get married at some point. That's a whole other story for a whole different bit of drama. I hope that I did better today with my ums and uhs. I'm holding myself to that at the top of my outline. Going to be doing that. Every outline is highlighting that, especially if I'm willing to put my face on it in a video and say, I'm getting better at this. I'm a good speaker. Well, I better be a good speaker. I better be able to connect dots and speak to people without sounding like an idiot. So I'm learning from some of the best. I'm listening to older Nick streams as well. Also, shout out to the web dev too, because I wouldn't be able to do that without you gifting me that. Because I think that's what we need too. And I want to be that. I want to be the best that I can possibly be. So I'm trying to be that. Because I listened back to some of those older streams and I hear myself talk and I go, how did any of you guys follow me for this long? How did you not turn off the YouTube channel and go, this guy sounds like an idiot? So for that, I know God is merciful, because I don't know how any of you guys followed me for this long. But here we are, and I will do my best to not disappoint. And to be honest, if I got to keep pushing this line to not be a coward and be courageous, I need to also be putting up too. And I better be elite human capital. I better be an effing unit, right? If Tom Foe can make these crazy ass thumbnails and attack Indians to the tune of 30K views, well, I better be able to speak good. Better be able to write good, speak good, and talk good. So be on the lookout tomorrow for a Lauren Southern React stream. That'll be happening early in the day. If I'm also going to be doing a gaming stream, if not, expect the Lauren Southern stream to happen later on in the day. We'll see what coordination I can get and what ends up happening. I'll keep you guys posted in the Discord as I'm figuring things out. I'll probably tag people or put it in the Telegram too. But with that, I appreciate you greatly. I'm rooting for you guys. Christ is King, as always. As always. Streaming Fortnite, no, it'll probably be something a bit different. Although Fortnite would be an easy one to do. I have no qualms with that. I would like to do some chill stuff on the weekends and make it not so intensive the entire time. But Christ is King, as always. Seek first the kingdom of God. Quite literally, nothing else matters, period. And I hope it'll be inspiring. What makes me feel good about what I've done is when I see a guy who says, I didn't know this until you had said it. I didn't see this story until you covered it. Or seeing things like, no, you inspired me, or that video you made really made me think about something a different way. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. And that makes me feel good, because it makes me feel like, even in the minimal, if it made even one person possibly think differently or attempt to maybe question something they already believed or look at in a different way, that means I was at some level successful. And so I appreciate hearing that. So thank you very much for that. And I do appreciate all of you guys. But since the deportations aren't happening, we will settle for impeachments. So impeach Donald Trump, impeach everybody. The entire administration, don't care. All of them. Kash Patel can go first. If he can even be impeached, I don't even care. Throw them all in prison. And for any woman over 150 pounds, you're going to be getting deported the first available moment. And any woman between 100 and 150 pounds, this is your 90-day notice to lose the weight, or you too will be shot from a cannon and sent directly to Israel, where you will have to live with Netanyahu and all the other escaped child offenders. But I appreciate you guys. I'll be seeing you guys a lot more through this weekend. Take care. Have a good rest of your night. And never black pill. Never black pill. Be elite human capital. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Get up and get out. Get out. Get out.
I have a question for you.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it! You say Christ is Lord! Get out! Get out!